How much resilience can a human being truly possess when staring death in the face? In moments of extreme peril, people often display an astonishing will to survive and incredible hidden strengths. Many don't just persevere, they discover remarkable ways to overcome adversity and cling to life, even when confronted with danger and hardship. Patience, courage, and an intense desire to live become the driving forces that empower them to conquer seemingly insurmountable challenges. The victim in today's extraordinary tale fought for 60 harrowing hours, desperately clinging to life beneath a drain. What exactly happened to her? Let's delve into this unforgettable story. It was around 6 p.m. on December 12, 2013, and the rain was relentless. A terrifying incident was about to unfold, captured entirely by roadside surveillance cameras. In a secluded alley west of Hagingwan building in Haikou City, Hainan Province, a man holding an umbrella appeared, leading a young woman by the hand. They shared the umbrella, suggesting a close relationship. However, this seemingly romantic scene was destined for a horrific end. As they approached an open drain, the man suddenly, with brutal force, pushed the woman down into it. He mercilessly shoved both her and the umbrella into the depths, giving her no chance to react. After this cruel act, he sealed the drain cover, even placing a heavy stone slab on top to ensure her entrapment. Then, under the cover of night, he vanished from the scene. The girl disappeared as if swallowed by the torrential rain. It's almost inconceivable to imagine someone trapped beneath a drain, completely unnoticed. The rain intensified, and with each passing moment, the girl's hope of survival seemed to dwindle. This was the chilling discovery police made after reviewing the roadside surveillance footage, realizing a young woman was trapped below. For days, countless people walked past the area, yet no one sensed anything amiss. On the night of December 14th, a staggering 50 hours after the girl's ordeal began, a cleaning lady passed by the very drain where she was trapped. The cleaner heard a strange sound but dismissed it as noise from a nearby house, paying it no further mind. Then, at 9 a.m. on December 15th, a full 60 hours after the girl was pushed into the drain, another young woman, dressed in red, finally noticed something. Surveillance footage showed the woman in red, umbrella in hand, bending down to peer into the half-covered drain opening. Later, when questioned about the incident, the woman in red, Yang Chi, recounted her chilling discovery. It was raining and quite cold that day. On my way to my sister-in-law's house, I happened to glance down at the drain. There were 3 drains close by in this area, but the one where the girl was trapped had its cover half open. Because that drain smelled terrible, passers-by usually held their noses, closed their eyes, and hurried past without paying attention. But I have a cautious habit. I intended to close the drain cover to ensure pedestrian safety. As I got closer, I noticed a head sticking out from inside the drain. Looking closer, I saw her entire body below. The feeling at that moment was truly terrifying. At that time, the temperature in Haikou was only about 7 to 8 degrees Celsius, and the rain was bitterly cold. The girl trapped in the drain was dressed only in her underwear, curled up in a strange position. Yang Chi initially thought she had already died. After this discovery, Ms. Kim, the neighborhood cleaner, recalled, "For the past few days, I had a feeling someone was nearby, but I was busy with work and didn't pay much attention. I never imagined someone was trapped in the drain." Ms. Kim was indeed the cleaning lady seen on camera 50 hours after the victim's accident, but she detected nothing unusual. It was only 10 hours later that Yang Chi accidentally stumbled upon the situation and immediately called the police. While waiting for the police, Yang Chi looked down into the drain and felt immense pity for the trapped girl. She initially believed the victim had not survived, but then, unexpectedly, the girl below opened her mouth and spoke, sending shivers down Yang Chi's spine. The girl urgently pleaded, "Please, save me." This faint cry for help left Yang Qi both terrified and bewildered. She shared, "At that moment, I couldn't believe my ears. I was just terrified. I kept thinking I was hallucinating because I'd never encountered anything like this before." It seemed the girl had mustered every ounce of her remaining strength to utter those words before collapsing from exhaustion. Witnessing such a pitiable sight, Yang Qi knew she had to act immediately. She quickly called her 2 sisters-in-law, who were nearby, for assistance. The drain where the girl was trapped was about 3 meters deep, with its flow leading directly to the sea, increasing the risk of her being swept away at any moment. The distance from the girl to the drain opening was over 1 meter, making it incredibly difficult to pull her up. Despite their best efforts, all 3 women couldn't immediately lift her out. Though unable to rescue her immediately, they quickly devised a temporary plan to help while awaiting the police. Yang Qi rushed home to grab a warm sweater and pants to keep the girl warm once she was pulled out. This was truly a thoughtful and compassionate act. Meanwhile, Yang Qi's 2 sisters-in-law were not idle. One tried to shield the girl from the rain and wind to keep her warmer, while the other ran to find more help. Thanks to their efforts, more and more people passing by became aware of the situation. Yang Qi quickly returned with the clothes, while her sister-in-law Zhou Ping continued to shield the girl from the elements, and her eldest sister-in-law Mei Hua stood by the road, trying to summon strong individuals to assist. These 3 women, undeterred by the difficulty, united in their efforts to save a complete stranger trapped beneath a drain. However, not everyone passing by was willing to help. An electric scooter zoomed past, not stopping despite seeing the predicament. A pedestrian slowly walked through the area, only glancing a few times before continuing on their way. Another person on a motorcycle also only took a fleeting look before leaving. These indifferent actions only highlighted the kindness and perseverance of Yang Qi and her sisters. They patiently stood guard around the drain opening, awaiting assistance. Fortunately, just 55 minutes later, Longhua police from Haikao arrived at the scene. Upon assessing the situation, the police were equally astonished. Below, the girl was soaked, shivering uncontrollably. To save herself, she had twisted her clothes into a crude rope and tied it to a pipe within the drain, resting one leg over it. This precise posture had kept her alive during those long, perilous hours. Even with a makeshift anchor, her ability to maintain that position for days was nothing short of miraculous. The crosswise pipe in the drain provided her with a crucial point of support to hold on to. However, being tangled by it also prevented her immediate rescue. Furthermore, being submerged in water for so many hours had turned her skin pale white and made it extremely fragile. To avoid causing her further pain, Officer Wu Gang of the Binhai Police Department devised a plan to use a ladder for the rescue. He immediately went to a nearby store to borrow a ladder, while Officer Wang Dejuan remained at the scene, attempting to pull the girl up from the drain. The girl's condition at this point was critical. She lay motionless, almost completely drained of energy. Perhaps due to her physical exhaustion, she no longer had the strength to hold on to the optical cable and fell to the bottom of the drain, now at a depth of 1.8 meters. This depth was enough to completely submerge her. While working on the rescue, the police also swiftly investigated the cause of the girl's horrific predicament. Was this merely an accident, or were criminal elements involved? According to the police chief's assessment, because the city bordered the sea, drain covers were always more securely protected than in other places. Therefore, the likelihood of a drain cover collapsing or coming loose was very low, and the girl accidentally falling in was almost impossible. After hours of reviewing surveillance cameras around the area, the police uncovered the terrifying truth behind the incident. Everything was clearly recorded in a surveillance video from 60 hours prior. The footage revealed that initially, the girl and a man were walking normally. Suddenly, the man grabbed her hand and pulled her along very quickly, almost running. As they neared the drain cover, the girl accidentally slipped one foot down but managed to regain her balance just enough to avoid a complete fall. However, the man seized this opportunity to deliberately push her down. He shoved her again and again, even using his hand to force her head down until she completely fell to the bottom of the drain. He didn't stop there. After committing the crime, he returned to the scene, not out of remorse, but to check if the drain cover was securely closed. He stepped onto it, stomping a few times to confirm. Still uneasy, the next morning, he returned with a white wooden board, 1.3 meters long and 80 centimeters wide, and placed it on top of the drain cover. His actions outraged both the police and the public. The relationship between this middle-aged man and the girl who fell into the drain remained a complex mystery. But at that moment, the most crucial task was not to understand the motive but to safely rescue the girl from the drain. At the scene, many people joined forces to help. Among them were 3 police officers and Yang Chi's 3 sisters. A moment later, a nearby security guard also joined the effort. The security guard, in his blue uniform, was hailed as a hero of the rescue. Without hesitation, he reached his hand down into the drain and loudly called out, "Give me your hand." The police recounted that the security guard stated his arm was longer and could reach the victim more easily. So, everyone above held on to his arm to prevent both of them from falling into the drain if their center of gravity shifted. In the first pull, despite their utmost efforts, they couldn't lift the girl. However, the security guard did not give up. He changed his posture, kneeling on one leg for greater stability. At this point, he extended his left hand as deep as possible into the drain, while his right hand firmly gripped the drain opening for balance. His right leg also extended into the drain, allowing his body to lean further down, while his entire weight was concentrated on his left leg, which was kneeling on the ground. He continuously encouraged the girl below, shouting, "Give me your hand. Give me your hand. Hold on, we'll save you." When he finally grasped the girl's hand, he exerted all his strength to pull her up. Nearby police officers immediately assisted the security guard, together pulling the girl out of the drain. Finally, everyone successfully rescued the girl. The tense hearts of Yang Chi and those around her finally relaxed. When pulled from the drain, the girl was exhausted, collapsing onto the ground. Yang Chi quickly wrapped her in the sweater, while police shielded her from the rain with an umbrella. However, at this point, the girl was no longer moving. Yang Chi shared, "I was so scared she had died. When I saw the girl being taken away, my mind went blank, and my eyes blurred. I couldn't see clearly anymore." At the same time, an ambulance arrived, and everyone quickly took her to the hospital for emergency treatment. The security guard, in his blue uniform, after selflessly risking his life to save someone, left the scene without leaving his name, even vanishing from surveillance cameras. While doctors worked tirelessly to provide emergency care, the police also urgently investigated the girl's identity. They went everywhere, asking local residents, but no one recognized her. It turned out she was not a native of Hainan. This raised the question, who is she? Why is she here? Moreover, what was the relationship between the man in the light-colored shirt, the suspect who allegedly pushed her into the drain, and her? Upon reviewing surveillance video from before the incident, the police discovered a crucial clue. At 6:50 p.m., just 20 minutes before the incident, the man in the light-colored shirt, holding an umbrella, appeared at the drain opening where the event occurred. He bent down, performing a strange action as if measuring the size of the drain opening. Then, when no one was around, he stealthily pulled the drain cover aside, placing a large piece of paper over it to conceal the opening. After completing his setup, he left without a trace. What happened next was the beginning of the tragedy. Without this surveillance footage, and if the girl had unfortunately died, the incident might have been mistakenly attributed to an accident, with no one held responsible. Thanks to the video, the man's actions were determined to be attempted murder. After disguising the scene, he led the victim there and committed his heinous act. The police concluded this was a premeditated murder attempt. He and the victim had a close relationship, which he exploited to carry out his plot to kill her, hoping to escape justice. There was no other evidence at the crime scene. Without the camera, this case would have been almost impossible to solve. At this time, the girl who fell into the drain was still in a precarious state between life and death, while the man in the light-colored shirt had completely vanished. The case had reached a dead end. However, good news from the hospital filled the police with excitement. The girl, despite prolonged submersion and severe dehydration, was out of danger thanks to timely emergency care. From this point, all questions surrounding the incident would gradually be clarified. The police went to the hospital to take her statement. The victim was identified as Ha Xiao, from Hunan, who had come to Haikou for a trip with her boyfriend. She recounted, "I never thought he would harm me. He should be thanking me." She also remembered, "At that moment, I only heard a whoosh, then I felt myself falling into the drain. I thought I was going to die. In despair, I kept rising and sinking, but luckily I managed to stand on a small pipe." Ha Xiao was 1.5 meters tall, while the water level in the drain was 1.7 meters. She couldn't swim, but thanks to a small pipe, only a few centimeters thick, protruding in the drain, she was able to cling to it and stay alive throughout the ordeal. Thus, she found a point of support to avoid sinking to the bottom of the drain. Ha Xiao explained, "That small pipe saved my life. It gave me more strength, the motivation to survive, to wait to be rescued. I told myself I couldn't die." The drain where Ha Xiao fell was 3 meters deep, connecting below to a massive underground drainage system that led to the Cheongzhou Strait. Just one slip from the pipe, and she would have been swept into the underground current, with unimaginable consequences. Although she could temporarily stand on the small pipe, keeping herself alive, Ha Xiao was still more than 1 meter from the drain opening. No matter how loudly she screamed, passers-by above couldn't hear her. They simply walked by, completely unaware. At that time, Ha Xiao did not have her phone with her. Aside from the clothes on her body, she only had an umbrella that had fallen with her into the drain and 500 yuan in her pocket. For over 60 grueling hours, she was submerged in freezing wastewater. The biting cold made her lose track of day and night, leaving only a pervasive sense of pain and despair. Her strong will gradually eroded. The moments of waiting for death were a true nightmare. At times, Ha Xiao felt as if she had already crossed over to the other side. In a dream, she saw her deceased father, and she wept uncontrollably. But then, the image of her young daughter suddenly appeared in her mind, rekindling the flame of life within her. She told herself, "I must survive to return to my daughter." Looking around, Ha Xiao noticed the pipe near the drain opening and the umbrella that had fallen with her. An idea sparked in her mind: she would use them to escape. She recalled, "At that moment, I thought that if I could reach the pipe above, I would be saved." Thinking it, I took off all my clothes, combined them with the umbrella, to create a long rope to wrap around the pipe. But by then, Ha Xiao was utterly exhausted after more than 60 hours without food or water. With her last vestiges of strength, she struggled to tie the rope to her hand, inch by agonizing inch, pouring all her remaining energy into climbing. Each attempt ended in failure. She would fall, swallowing wastewater 3 to 4 times. But she refused to give up. Finally, after countless failures, Ha Xiao mustered all her strength to push the heavy 40 kilograms drain cover, opening a small gap. At that exact moment, a man passing by noticed her and quickly came to her rescue. After more than 60 hours of tenacious battle against death, Hua Qiao was finally saved. Yet, she still couldn't comprehend how she had persevered so fiercely, nor could she understand why her boyfriend, the one who should have loved her, had so callously pushed her into the drain. According to Hua Qiao's testimony, the person who pushed her was her boyfriend, Guo Chang, also from Hunan. The police immediately launched an investigation. Based on the information and surveillance camera images provided by Hua Qiao, authorities tracked the suspect's vehicle to a coffee shop. After 2 days and 2 nights of searching, Guo Chang finally appeared. The police immediately arrested the suspect and escorted him back to Haikao for interrogation. According to Guo Chang's account, he and Hua Qiao had met by chance and then married. However, due to a severe gambling addiction, he accumulated overwhelming debt, including 100,000 yuan owed to Hua Qiao. After their divorce, though no longer married, they remained in contact. Guo Chang, to erase this debt, lured Hua Qiao to travel to Haikao, Hainan, and planned to murder her. Fortunately, Hua Qiao survived, but one could certainly say she was incredibly unlucky to encounter such a vile man. Ultimately, Guo Chang was convicted of attempted murder and sentenced to 17 years in prison. This served as a fitting lesson for those who are lazy but seek illicit gains. Although Hua Qiao suffered this calamity at the hands of Guo Chang, she was fortunate to receive the help of Yang Qi, her 2 sisters-in-law, and the nameless security guard. Hopefully, in this society, there will be more and more good people, like those who helped Hua Qiao, contributing to building a better community. And so, this case concludes our story for today. What are your thoughts on this case? Please leave your comments below so we can discuss. And don't forget to like and subscribe if this is your first time encountering our channel. Thank you for watching the video. Goodbye and see you again.